The ICU was brighter than I expected. Not dramatic bright. Not cinematic. Just fluorescent and steady, the kind of light that makes time irrelevant. Machines hummed in soft rhythms. A monitor blinked my heartbeat back at me, as if I needed proof I was still here. I remember the nurse adjusting something near my IV and asking if there was someone she could call. I gave her my father's name. That was the reflex. By the second day, I stopped looking at the door. Phones weren't allowed for long, but when they handed mine back to me for a few minutes, I saw nothing. No missed calls, no "Are you okay? No, we're coming, just one message, from my dad. Send 50,000 by Friday. We're short for your sister's wedding deposit." That was it. No punctuation. No question mark. No acknowledgement that I was in intensive care after a pulmonary embolism that nearly killed me. For a while, I stared at the ceiling instead of the screen. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he didn't understand how serious it was. Maybe he assumed I was stable. Maybe someone forgot to tell him. Then I checked the family group chat. Photos of centerpiece samples. Debates about cake flavors. My aunt suggesting gold-rimmed plates because this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. My hospitalization had been mentioned once. A thumbs-up reaction under my cousin's. Hayes in ICU but stable. Then it vanished beneath wedding logistics. That's when something in me stopped negotiating. I've always been the dependable one. The practical sibling. The one who paid off my parents' credit card when my dad's business faltered. The one who quietly covered my sister's graduate school tuition after she said she'd pay me back someday. The one who wired money when there were unexpected expenses. I used to call it generosity. Lying in that hospital bed, oxygen prongs pressing into my nose, I realized it had been infrastructure. I wasn't family, I was a line of credit. I didn't respond to the message. I didn't explain. I opened his contact. Blocked it. Then I blocked the group chat. It wasn't dramatic. My heart monitor didn't spike. The world didn't shift. But something inside me did. When I was discharged a week later, no one was waiting outside. A rideshare took me home. The driver asked if someone would help me up the stairs. "I've got it," I said. Recovery was slow. Walking across my apartment felt like crossing a parking lot. I had too much time to think. Guilt would creep in around midnight. What if they were stressed? What if weddings do that to people? What if I was overreacting? Then I would reread the message. Send 50,000 by Friday. No, how are you feeling? No, are you scared? Just a deadline. 3 weeks after I left the hospital, I received a call from an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer. It was a wedding venue's financial coordinator. She was polite, formal. She explained there had been a misunderstanding regarding a deposit guarantee. My name had been listed as the financial backer. A personal reference. I felt my stomach drop, not from anger, but from clarity. They had assumed I would cover it. Not asked. Assumed. When the deposit didn't arrive, the venue issued a formal notice. Contract suspended pending payment. Dates released back into availability. She wasn't accusing me. She was verifying whether I intended to honor the commitment. I was in the ICU. I told her evenly. I never agreed to guarantee anything. There was a pause on the line. Papers shuffling. Understood, she said. We'll proceed accordingly. That was the turning point. Not a shouting match, not a confrontation at a dinner table. A documented withdrawal. Within days, extended relatives started calling from numbers I hadn't blocked. Their tone wasn't apologetic, it was bewildered. What happened? Why didn't you just send it? You know how important this is. My sister left a voicemail. She sounded more embarrassed than upset. The venue says they released our date. Dad said you. I don't know. He thought you'd handle it. Handle it? I didn't return the calls. Instead, I called my bank and updated all beneficiary permissions. I met with a financial advisor. I changed passwords I hadn't touched in years. And I booked therapy. The wedding didn't collapse, but it shrank. Different venue, fewer guests. A date pushed back 6 months. My father reportedly had to take out a high-interest loan. I heard all of this secondhand. No one came to demand money in person. No one showed up at my door. The urgency dissolved once they realized the faucet had actually turned off. That's what shocked everyone, I think. Not that I didn't pay. That I stayed gone. I expected rage, accusations, smear campaigns. Instead, there was a quiet recalibration. Without my financial gravity, the family system rearranged itself. My father negotiated directly with creditors for the first time in years. My sister downgraded her plans. My aunts stopped suggesting imported linens. They adjusted. And I kept recovering. Physically, my lungs healed faster than I thought they would. Emotionally, it was slower. Some mornings I'd wake up reaching for my phone, wondering if today would be the day someone asked how I'd survived. They never did. Months later, I passed my sister at a grocery store. We froze in the cereal aisle like strangers recognizing each other from a former life. She looked tired. "So," she said carefully, "you're really not coming to the wedding." I considered it. Not the event, the question underneath. Was I punishing them? Was I proving something? "No," I said. She nodded once. No tears, no fight, just consequence. As she walked away, I didn't feel victorious. I felt something quieter. I had survived something that nearly killed me. And in that sterile room, under fluorescent lights, I learned the difference between being needed and being valued. One costs you your health. The other doesn't ask for 50,000 while you're trying to breathe. I still think about them sometimes. Family doesn't evaporate just because you block a number. There's grief in realizing what role you actually played. But there's also relief. The monitors are gone now. The oxygen tubes. The antiseptic smell. What remains is a boundary. And for the first time in my life, it isn't negotiable.